ABC 10 News at 7 starts now.
And on June 15th, we will be moving beyond the blueprint and we'll be getting rid of the colored tiers.
We now know when life in California should return to normal. Governor Newsom announcing today he wants to get rid of all pandemic restrictions by mid-June. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. The governor's announcement was made just before San Diego County announced that we are moving into the orange tier tomorrow. Our ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco looks at what that means as we continue to rebound from the pandemic.
Businesses across San Diego will welcome back more customers starting Wednesday when the county enters the orange tier.
We're headed in the right direction because of what we've done and the protections we put in place, not in spite of it.
Under the less restrictive tier, restaurants, museums, aquariums, and places of worship can operate indoors at 50% capacity. Gyms increase to 25%. Amusement parks can open with 25% capacity to in-state visitors only. Concerts and sporting events go up to 33%, also for in-state visitors. Bars that don't serve food can now open outside. There are no capacity limits on retail. The county also announced an end to the 10 p.m. curfew that's been in effect since July.
We're excited about where we're headed, the direction, the trajectory, moving to orange, looking ahead to what's coming at June.
June 15th is expected to bring an end to all restrictions. The governor announced Tuesday, as long as vaccine supply remains sufficient and hospitalizations stay low, the state will do away with its blueprint for reopening.
We can start to open up as business as usual, subject to ongoing mask wearing and ongoing vigilance.
The governor also says he expects schools, community colleges, and universities to return to in-person instruction, but he stops short of saying that he'll make it a requirement. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
State leaders say that California doesn't plan to have a vaccine passport system, but large conventions with more than 5,000 people, they will be required to prove attendees are either vaccinated or tested.
And with that June 15th date nearing, San Diego's economy will be getting a big boost this summer. ABC's 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala shows how more jobs are on the way.
With California aiming to fully reopen the economy this June, San Diegans are getting ready for businesses to finally rebound, returning to pre-pandemic operations in the summer.
It's a huge win for restaurants and businesses.
So many restaurants have been hit hard over the last year. Benjamin Nichols is the executive director of the Hillcrest Business Association. He's seen many follow the tier rules and struggle in the process with the constant changes.
Now they're being rewarded with what seems to be an early, return to normalcy.
It's tremendous for business. It's tremendous for families and jobs and just the local economy.
Jerry Sanders is the president and CEO of the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce. He says the June date gives businesses time to start planning now and bring back more employees for the summer rush. He expects this to cut down our unemployment rate pretty quickly.
We're already down to about 8%, and I can foresee us moving really rapidly back to a 4 or 5% unemployment rate. It's an optimistic sign. Certainly for the tourism hospitality industry, which is one of our largest industries in San Diego. The city lost over $250 million in transient occupancy tax.
As long as we meet the criteria, restaurants will fully open, hotels will welcome more guests. People will be able to enjoy live shows like they used to, but with a mask on, of course. Guidance for outdoor community events has been left off of the state's reopening plan throughout this pandemic. So with the June 15th target date also comes new hope for many San Diegans.
We do San Diego Pride. We also do La Mesa Oktoberfest, the Chula Vista Starlight Parade. For us, it's 200,000 people having a pathway back, and it's our future.
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
The county reported 212 new cases today, while our test positivity rate was 3%. 2 more San Diegans have lost their lives to COVID, bringing that total to just under 3,600. And San Diego's unified schools will resume in-person learning next week. Today, the board ratified its COVID safety agreements with the teachers. It includes all staff having access to the vaccine, everyone having masks and PPE, and every classroom having an air quality monitor and proper ventilation.
Every classroom will have an air quality monitor in place that lets us know If the air is, healthy, basically the monitor is green. If it moves to, a red, we know that, we need to make improvements in that classroom.
Starting Monday, about half of the district students will return to campus. Of those, 3/4 of the students will be back 4 days a week and the rest for 2 days. You can stay on top of any new developments with coronavirus by downloading the 10 News app. A free version is available in the App Store.
A highway patrol officer is in the hospital tonight after an accident in Escondido. The motorcycle officer was going east on Villa Rancho Parkway this afternoon when a Nissan Rogue turned into his path at Loma Serena Drive. The officer was thrown from the motorcycle and taken to Palomar Medical Center with major injuries. The driver of the Rogue was not hurt and not arrested.
Happening now, voters in the 79th Assembly District have less than an hour to cast a ballot on who will replace Shirley Weber. She vacated her seat when she was named California's Secretary of State. A field of 4 Democrats, including Weber's daughter, and 1 Republican, they are vying for the seat. If no candidate gets more than 50% of the vote, a runoff between the top 2 candidates will be held June 8th. The polls close at 8. We're going to have results online on our app and on ABC 10 News at 11. And this afternoon, the San Diego City Council took a key step towards reviving the convention center expansion that failed at the polls last year. Our ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains how the city plans to bring Measure C back from the dead.
Nicole Davison works as a stagehand in venues around San Diego, including the convention center.
So when Hamilton or hockey or the Rolling Stones aren't in town, stagehands like me can still earn a paycheck.
Expanding the center would bring even more opportunities, which is why she wants the city to argue 2020's Measure C actually passed. Measure C would raise more than $6 billion to expand the convention center, increase services for the homeless, and fix the roads. San Diego voters went to the polls last March thinking it needed a 2/3 majority to pass. It just missed that. Measure C would raise the hotel tax up to 3.25% to fund the trio of projects. Recent appellate court decisions appear to show citizens' initiatives like Measure C, which reached the ballot via signatures, only needed 50% plus 1. Measure C got more than 65%. Mayor Todd Gloria wants the city council to affirm the measure actually passed as the city seeks the green light in court.
We have high unemployment, we have folks who are in economic distress. This is one of the ways I think we can get our economy going again.
But those opposed say the city is looking to overturn an election and question expanding the center during a homeless and housing crisis.
65% came out and voted for homelessness, and I think 65% came out and voted for additional infrastructure in communities.
Gloria says a court decision could come within 6 months to a year. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
The council voted 6-3 to affirm that Measure C passed. The court, however, will have the final say before any bonds or debt are issued.
2 small children abandoned in East County are now in the custody of Health and Human Services. Yesterday, agents saw 2 adults hoisting the children into the U.S. over large boulders in an area where the border wall ends near Jacumba. Agents found the 6-year-old boy and the 5-year-old girl alone and crying with no food or water.
This is another example of the lengths that the smuggling organizations will go to. These people that operate as part of those human smuggling cells are more often than not criminals that have been previously apprehended and oftentimes can't enter the United States through lawful means, so they have to resort to this type of crime.
And the children gave agents a handwritten note with their mother's name and phone number on it. Agents contacted her and got additional information about the children. We are continuing to monitor the breaking news we first brought you at 6 o'clock. A dangerous high-speed chase through several Southern California counties just ended there. A black pickup truck believed to be driven by a murder suspect crashed into the semi-truck in Pomona. He was believed to be armed. There was also a passenger in the truck. Both have been arrested. And here is a live look now. Officers have put the driver and the passenger into custody. At one point, he drove to the San Diego County line before turning back north. Earlier, the driver in the truck was pushing 100 miles per hour on city streets, even driving on the sidewalk at times, other times driving the wrong way. Also, the driver had been throwing things out the window, and they're just going through the truck right now, checking the back, checking to make sure if there was anyone else in that truck. It doesn't appear that there is. There was just the driver and a passenger.